Let's do this. We ready to go? Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Father James. I hope you forgive me sipping coffee here in this sacred space, but it's a consequence of the incarnation. Through the incarnation, all of creation was redeemed and sanctified, so everything is good, including coffee. And I'm drinking from my FGM priest travel mug because I have today, for Holy Week, hot hints to having a holy week. A lot of H's in there. So I was thinking of, what am I going to talk about this week? And I thought, well, why don't I just give some hints about how to get the most out of, especially the Triduum, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Easter Saturday. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is set the goal that for Thursday night through until Sunday, it's like you're going to make a decision to say, this is the most important time of the year. These are the most important days. They're central to who I am, to my identity, to my purpose. Like, even really kind of orient yourself in that kind of way. That's a great start. And that means in order to get ready to celebrate those days, you got to get all the other stuff out of the way. So here's what I recommend you do is, once you see this video, Tuesday, Wednesday, go out and do all your shopping. Try to get as much of that stuff out of the way ahead of what's coming. So you have up until Holy Thursday evening. Now, in your shopping, here's what I really recommend you do. You go shopping for either lunch or supper on Thursday, and you have yourself some nice lamb chops, or maybe a leg of lamb. Sorry if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, but you know, Passover lamb, Lamb of God, all that kind of stuff. It's lamb. So it's a wonderful way to celebrate Holy Thursday. I'm having lamb for lunch with the priests here in the residence. It's a celebration of the priesthood, and just marking that tradition that it goes back thousands of years. So that's something will add literally a little flavor to your celebration of Holy Thursday. So that's Holy Thursday. And then, of course, come to the evening Mass, Mass of the Lord's Supper at our parish, or if you're watching from another parish, make sure you go there. If you've never gone to the Mass of the Lord's Supper, it's a beautiful experience. Go and check it out. The focus on the institution of the Eucharist, the call to service, to wash one another's feet, and how those two things are intricately connected. Once the liturgy is over, it ends in a very unusual way. It ends by the tabernacle being emptied out and the Blessed Sacrament being led in procession usually to a separate place where there's a time of prayer, a kind of vigil of prayer where parishioners will gather. Here at our parish, the idea, the hope, unless it's pouring rain, is to process the Blessed Sacrament into the parish center on the hill and to turn the big room into a place of prayer. If it rains heavily, then we'll be in the back room here. Either way, after Mass, we will be here in prayer until midnight. So the Mass will probably finish around 8:30 at night. That means we get 3.5 hours. So here's what I recommend you do. Even if you come to Mass, either stay at first, but maybe go right home after Mass. Get a little cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever, and then come back and take some time. Imagine yourself being in the Garden of Gethsemane with Jesus, you know, watching and waiting, watching in prayer. It's just a very beautiful way to spend Holy Thursday night, because the retreat has begun. And here's what I recommend you do on Holy Thursday night at some point, that you read John's Gospel, chapter 18, 1 to 27. And that just tells the story from the end of the Last Supper until Jesus is arrested and brought to the house of Caiaphas, and right up until the next day. So it is a sense of living in the moment of that night. So Good Friday, again, the retreat continues. Good Friday is a day of fasting. It's a day of silence. The fasting, the church calls us to, it's one of the 2 days a year where we're asked to fast and to abstain from meat. So we make a decision to not have meat, and also fasting is we have one main meal a day, and we avoid snacking. So that's, I think, the day makes sense if we do that. I mean, Jesus, he didn't exactly have a meal that day, and he suffered for us, and so it's through that sacrifice we unite ourselves with Jesus and his love for us. Another thing to fast from is to fast from social media. I don't know if you're like me, but it seems to be that I think I'm becoming addicted to checking my phone and what's the latest news and what's checking BBC News or different news outlets. Maybe Good Friday is a day when we just stop all of that, like throw your phone away and be in that day. The main liturgy around the world, all over the world, is 3 p.m. The solemn liturgy. It's a beautiful liturgy that begins in silence with the beautiful scripture readings and the veneration of the cross. Just be in that day. Here in our parish, we have a family liturgy at 11 o'clock in the morning, if that's helpful for you, because I know the solemn liturgy is quite difficult for children. And besides, if we don't have people show up for the family liturgy, we won't have room for everyone. So that's really helpful too. Afterwards, in the evening, there's the Stations of the Cross that we're going to have here in most parishes. There'll be Stations of the Cross. Here's a recommendation for when you go home Friday night, because it's usually it's kind of a long day, it's intense. Why don't you watch a movie? But not any movie. A couple of recommendations. One, if you're up for it, is The Passion of the Christ. It's a very intense movie. It's the one with Mel Gibson, and it starts in the Garden of Gethsemane and ends on Easter Sunday morning. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for children. It shows the crucifixion and the torture of Jesus and all of its brutality. But it's a powerful film. It's very, very powerful. So you can get that on whatever platform you use to watch movies. A more gentler portrayal of the same story is found in Franco Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth. It's another favorite of mine. I think that was 1974 it was made, 1975. Altogether, that whole series is like 6.5 hours, but if you go to the end of it, or to the last episode, it tells the story basically of the Last Supper through to the resurrection. And it's just, again, a beautiful way to kind of relax and, watch a movie and yet be immersed or re-immersed in this wonderful, wonderful story. So again, continuing to pray throughout the day, make it a sacred day. Holy Saturday, again, is a day of silence. There's this sense of waiting, because here's what we're trying to do, folks. We're trying to pretend we don't know how the story ends. That's what the liturgy does. The liturgy, that's why it breaks up the focal points and kind of immerses us into that reality. So Holy Saturday morning, there should be a feeling of emptiness, of mourning. That's why if you come in to a Catholic church, it's totally weird, because the altar in Holy Saturday morning, the altar is stripped bare, the tabernacle is empty, the vigil lamp that is always lit to signify the Eucharistic presence of the Lord is out. It's empty. It's not just empty, it's empty. It feels barren. And that's the whole point, is that we're like, the Lord's gone. He's gone. No, we know he's not. But that's the point. We allow ourselves to be immersed into it and try to be in that space, to be in that space. But we're not waiting without hope. Like, remember, the disciples of Jesus were told. He told them that on the third day he would be raised. And so we wait. That's why we don't offer each other Happy Easter. Try not to say that. If someone says to you Happy Easter, just smile and say, not yet, not yet. And then come to the vigil. The vigil is the most solemn, sacred, liturgical celebration of the entire year. And whatever parish you belong to, if you're not a member here, go check out the vigil. That's an amazing experience. If for whatever reason you're not able to do that, I get it. Sometimes there are reasons we can't do that because of family. Obviously, Easter Sunday morning. Now, here's the thing you have to do, though. You got this? Either after the vigil or on Easter Sunday morning, you have to celebrate. Because Catholicism is a religion, a faith, a tradition of feasting and fasting. We have feasts and we have fasts. We have finished the great fast of Lent and we're into the great season of feasting. In fact, the church celebrates Easter for 8 days. That's why it's called the Octave of Easter. So get ready to party. Simple as that. You know all that shopping I said you should get done before Holy Thursday? Get all your party stuff, all your celebration, and enjoy, truly rejoice on Easter Sunday with family, with friends, and of course the Lord. And one final thought. When all the partying is, well, when the first day of partying is finished and you go home, you might say, I want to watch a movie. A final recommendation for a movie. It's the 2016 movie Risen that tells the story of Good Friday through to, well, I won't spoil it. The name of the movie kind of gives it away. It's a wonderful movie, and once again will help you to enter into the great feast of Easter that we will be by then celebrating. So there you go. Those are my tips to have a holy week. I hope they're helpful to you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. God bless.